Have you ever heard the phrase spiritual bypassing?
Sure, I use
Yeah.
it a lot
You do?
myself.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
What do you mean by it?
Oh, spiritual bypassing is, well, a lot of things. Not really being with what's actually happening. To me, that's spiritual bypassing. If you're not really with what's actually happening, then you're actually trying to bypass. You're trying to do an end run around something. Or the great examples of spiritual bypass is what I did through most of my 20s, is I had such an intense desire for enlightenment, and without making like any conscious decision, I basically put my life on hold. So I didn't really develop, a career during that part of my life. I didn't have a single relationship, for almost 9 years. I didn't, so all this time, that's our really formative years, I wasn't really doing any of that. And my mindset was, I have to get enlightened first. And this created this enormous barrier for me. And it wasn't till I saw this doesn't seem to be working, and I seem to be, pushing into my 30s now. I better, I better get my life together a little bit. And the amazing thing is, as soon as I started to pay attention to what needed to be pay attention to, work and some career and things like that, then the spirituality just took off. I mean, it just was like this huge leap forward. So, people have lots of ways of trying to bypass, or like, enlightenment's going to solve this problem.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you think that, that means you're trying to bypass your experience. And so that, to me, that's what bypass means.
What about the role of the body in the process of giving you feedback about not making a spiritual bypass? This is
Well, you just, in your question,
Yeah.
you just answered the question in your question, is the body is what tells you, right? That's one of the things that's so often left out in spirituality, is your body is telling you what you need to pay attention to. If you fears in the body, anxieties in the body, guilt's in the body, shame's in the body. These aren't just abstract, psychological concept. These are actual direct experiences. And so to me, the body is sort of the place of, in a relative way of speaking, the body is the place of truth. You don't pay attention to what's going on in your body, sooner or later, you've got to. These bodies here are for very good reasons. The body not only tells us, has the truth about what we're experiencing. We're experiencing what we're experiencing. No matter what our mind tells us about it, it's still there. And the body also has an important part to play of, I'm often telling people, you were at the retreat, and I tell people all retreat long, get a sense of what I'm speaking about. Get a feel for it. Get a kinesthetic, experience of this. Yes, it's beyond that experience. It's deeper than that experience, but that's your doorway in. I often say, this all happens from the neck down, to get people, into the sense of things. Because later, even, funny thing is, when we really awaken, and we're really awake, and that's being embodied, actually, it's the body that in many ways dictates what we do.
What do you mean by that?
The sense, not the concept anymore or the idea, but the sense of the way the truth moves through us. It's a sense. It's a kinesthetic sense. So when we're really awakened beyond the personal self, we're not really in this position like when people are often in a place of making decisions, and they're confused about decisions. And when we're really awake, we don't get so caught in this place of decisions that we still almost literally in the body. There's just this flow that's leaning one way, leaning the other. It's just sort of moving in one direction, and it's a flow, and it's felt kinesthetically. It's not conceptual in any way. And so this is just one example. The more awake we become, actually our kinesthetic experience is a very direct way that the truth is communicating to us. It's the way it's moving through us. Because, of course, body, form, and formlessness are are one, you know?
Say more.
Well, so since they're one, that, the way the formlessness, the revelation of unity moves is very much, it's in the body and it's felt and it's experienced and it's kinesthetic.